Across the country, it was a good night for Democrats from Kentucky to Ohio to Virginia. They came away with some pretty big wins.
Fox 5's Chris Welch joins us now in studio. And Chris, what could this signal for the next presidential race next year?
Well, Steve, Natasha, it could signal to Democrats who are worried about Joe Biden's poll numbers that things might not be as bad as they thought, and that if social issues are on the ballot, it could really help drive turnout next year.
The scene in Ohio might well sum up how Democrats feel nationwide after Tuesday's elections.
Abortion access is the law of the land in Ohio.
Ohio is now the latest in a string of states to enshrine abortion access into its constitution. The social issue played a big role just south of the Buckeye State as well.
We are one team Kentucky.
Where Kentuckians granted Democratic Governor Andy Beshear a second term. Kentucky is a red state that Donald Trump won by 25 points in 2020.
I think what voters said yesterday broadly across the board is that Virginia is a purple state.
Virginia Democrats managed to hold on to the state Senate, and they've picked up the state House of Delegates. Those wins pouring cold water on the political chatter that conservative Governor Glenn Youngkin may be a late entry into the GOP race for president. Experts say the results in all three states underscore one thing.
Democrats, as well as Republicans, believe that abortion is a right. It's a constitutional right, notwithstanding what the Supreme Court held.
Alan Sanders, a political science professor at St. Peter's University, says it should send a message to the GOP ahead of next year.
Republicans have to adapt their campaigns and make it seem less extreme.
But will they? Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeting Wednesday that abortion is not the reason her party did poorly, then doubling down on the issue, writing, abortion is genocide.
I think that if you look at from the midterms to last night, from California to Kansas, Ohio to Virginia, the voters said, look, the government should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
The gloom and doom that the recent polls have suggested about Biden and the Democrats may be a bit overstated.
Democratic strategist Basil Smikle says Joe Biden should be comforted by Tuesday's results, but the president should still be concerned about his own poll numbers.
What they saw last night, that Democrats can win, but they've got to put forth the effort. They've got to spend money in these states. They've got to get resources on the ground to mobilize voters. Ultimately, that's really what it comes down to.
Now, typically what happens in presidential years is what's called the coattail effect. The excitement at the top of the ticket trickles down to benefit the candidates toward the bottom. But both Sanders and Smikle think there's a chance that next year we could see a reverse coattail effect. Passion for the issues at the bottom of the ballot could benefit President Joe Biden. Natasha, back to you.
Very interesting. All right, Chris, thank you.